Hi, I'm Dug Stevenson for Press+1, and I'm joined by Alex Boothby and Janine Short for Mr. Viral. I want to talk about bunny beads first. I think that'll be a good way to open this off, because I'm really impressed because you had to come up with an actual product that could serve two purposes to make the film legit. How much thought and what was the process in developing bunny beads?
There's a lot of thought in that, and Janine should really talk because she actually built them. She's both the producer and the production designer. But the idea actually came from reality. We made a movie about advertisers and the lengths that they'll go to sell products. And in this particular case, we have a sort of off-the-rails agency producer who decides to market his very family-oriented kids' toys as sex toys. So this actually happened in real life. I actually worked on a children's commercial for a well-known product, and the cinematographer pointed out that it looked also like something else that was quite lewd and so forth. And that was actually the origin for the idea of the movie. It's like, well, if the product's not selling to kids, they can always market it to adults as a sex toy. And that was the origin of one of the stories in Mr. Viral. But actually making it, we had to make it look like a kid's toy. It had to be multifunctional, and we had huge discussions, and Janine actually constructed them and designed them from scratch. So.
Well, yeah, because in the beginning of the film, when it first shows it, I mean, it opens basically with a children's commercial where they're using the bunny beads, and then obviously progresses from there into a further storyline. But yeah, so what was behind making it? How difficult was that? And did you have other models that you were close to using, or other names for something? Or
yeah, well, it was always called bunny beads, but yeah, Alex and I had a lot of really long discussions about what they should look like, how big they should be, and they're perhaps maybe a little bigger than either of us maybe originally intended. We finally came up with a design for how they should work and function in terms of like turning into different things, becoming a skipping rope, extending, and then like you could do this crazy thing and it would become like firm, and then you could use it as like a baton, and all the things that it needed to do and how we would achieve that.
Another thing that I wanted to ask, and we were trying to describe the film, before we sat down. If somebody were to watch the trailer or read the tagline, do you think they'd think it was perverse? Do you think it would turn them off? What would you say to get them to watch the film?
Well, first of all, the movie is very unique, and that was our #1 goal. We wanted to make a dark, threatening satire that was also hilarious. So I think it's a bit, the audience is a bit culty. They have to have a satirical sort of sense about them. So it's not for everyone. But that's the kind of movie I love. It really is. It's like there's a movie. I sort of based the tone of the film off of a not very well-known Scorsese movie called After Hours, which is described as the most tense comedy ever made. And it's hysterical. There's Cheech and Chong in it. But it's also, you watch the whole thing cringing, biting your nails. So our movie is very, very challenging for audiences. That it's constantly, you don't know actually exactly where the tone is. And I love that kind of playful, back and forth and so forth. But it's also got some deep ideas on its mind. It's about how far we'll go to sell ourselves and our products, and how the internet ties into that. It's all about how technology facilitates our every whim and desire, and it really explores the consequences of clicking. That's the main thing. It's easy to click and get what you want, but that actually has very real human consequences. And we wanted to do that in a ridiculous, over-the-top, challenging, and entertaining way. So,
Alex, you already touched on how the toy is brought from a real-life situation that you had, and you had experience, a lot of experience in marketing and advertising. How much more did you bring from your real-life work experience into the film?
Oh, a lot. Actually, both Janine and I have worked in the advertising world in Toronto. Janine was an agency producer at a well-known ad agency and has actually a lot of experience in viral marketing, just when viral marketing started to become a huge thing. And my experience in advertising world is both in directing commercials, but a ton, like probably about 2,000 commercials doing the visual effects and online editing, which means that I'm working directly with the agency and then often the clients and a lot of the creative people, both on set and in the post side of it. And I would really honestly be in a very intimate working relationship, but I'd hear all of their anxieties and their quirks and their neuroses.
The inner conversation.
So there's a lot of I think there's a lot of truth in the film, but we're sort of hyping it up to an entertaining level. And if you watch it, the tone is just, you know, a little bit more than real. But it's all done in a very, very playful way. The film is somewhat insulting to the advertising world in terms of how desperate and needy these people are. But it's actually, in my mind, it's a bit of a loving portrayal because people in that world actually do love to make fun of themselves. So.
And was that an important part of it, though? Because, you know, parts of the film are really dark. So do you have to contrast that with making things kind of silly?
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's easier to say something more challenging about society and people if you bring a humor to it that makes it more accessible and makes people more open to looking at that side of the world and themselves.
So you have a company, Gangrene Productions, and obviously you were helping to work through Gangrene Productions on this film. What's next? Is it going to be more advertising-related projects, or?
No, both Janine and I now, having worked in the real ad world,
You want to leave that behind?
No, I'm actually still involved in that, but we've also got the independent film bug. And actually, the film festival that we're playing at, which is the Canadian Film Fest, is just like the perfect drug for indie filmmakers. It's all Canadian films. We're just like everybody's so supportive. All the other filmmakers are coming out to see each other's work, and I can't wait to get started on my next project.
I don't want to let you go before talking a little bit about visual effects, because some people might not know that you've done visual effects for some very high-profile films like Fight Club, Black Swan. I'm sure I could go on and on. What's the process there? You know, because like you said, in the advertising world, you're in a room with other people who are making decisions. How much do you have control over things versus what other people are telling you to do? And what's the setting? Who's in the room?
It depends on the production. I mean, in terms of having control, my most famous story is that I was once asked to shrink Jennifer Lopez's butt. So that's the kind of control we have. In the commercial...
Did you do it successfully?
Wonderfully successfully. I don't even... Anyway, suffices to say that especially on the commercial world, everything is augmented and honed and finessed and changed and obsessed over every single little pixel. And I can guarantee you, when you watch television commercials, that stuff is being photoshopped and manipulated, and reality is not quite reality. And our film actually plays with that. Right. There's some sensibilities, there's some scenes set in the agency that we wanted that sort of gloss and finish and sort of artifice. And then there's other scenes that are very gritty and real, and it's that juxtaposition that added a lot of energy and conflict to it. So post-production on this film, there wasn't the same client interface. There wasn't all the approvals that's involved in that. It was just more...
You guys are doing it, so you're doing what you want.
Yeah, we know what we want. It's really, frankly, just a matter of time and try to figure out how to get it all done. Because we're also... trying to figure out, you know, if we need to finish the music first or if we need to finish the audio first. And I mean, we had a great team of editors, Marcus Moore, who was our lead editor with Paulette Sinclair, and so I was working with them, but I also became the guy who was doing the visual effects on the back end. Visual effects are important to this film insofar as that it allowed us to achieve some images that were otherwise impossible on a low-budget independent Canadian film. But no, it's not a big visual effects project. I use it to solve problems, like to join locations together, or to make crowds a little bit bigger, or just to fix mistakes. I use it as a bit of a crutch like that. But.
So very exciting, because you guys are actually screening Final Night, Final Film, correct, at the Canadian Film Festival.
Yes.
Where can people go for more information if they can't get out to see Mr. Viral during Canadian Film Festival?
I would say just keep following us on Facebook, Mr. Viral Feature Film, and on Twitter, Mr. Viral_movie, and we'll keep you abreast of what's going on next.